Ever have one of those mornings where everything feels normal, quiet, uneventful, only to end the day trending on TikTok because your HOA accused you of squatting in your own home? Yeah, that happened to me. Here's the story. I'm Jack Turner. I live in the house my dad built back in the 70s. It's a modest 2-story place sitting just outside a pristine suburban neighborhood called Crestwood Trails, the kind with perfect lawns, forced smiles, and an HOA that regulates everything, from the color of your mailbox to how green your grass is. Thing is, I'm not part of that HOA. Never signed up, never intended to. Apparently, that didn't sit well with them. Life on my hill is simple. I work remotely, walk my dog Scout, tinker. In the garage, grill when the weather's good. I pay my taxes, keep the yard trimmed, and don't throw wild parties. Basically, I keep to myself. Somehow that made me the local enigma. It started with the stares, those drawn-out suspicious looks, like I just walked out of a heist. Then came Brenda Whitmore, HOA president and proud carrier of a clipboard, who started circling my property like a predator in pleated khakis. One day, I caught her measuring my driveway with one of those wheel things. When I stepped outside, she bolted like she just committed a felony. Then my neighbor Alan, good guy ex-firefighter, pulled me aside and said Brenda had been snooping, asking if I actually lived here or was just some kind of permanent camper. Said she called me unusually stationary. I joked, "What am I, a lawn ornament?" He didn't laugh, just warned me she was putting together a file. Next thing I know, I get this unsigned notice in my mailbox saying my presence is being reviewed for community impact. That's when I knew this wasn't about some policy. It was personal. Then it escalated. 2 police cars rolled up my driveway like I was running some kind of drug operation. I was on the porch in pajama pants sipping coffee. One officer goes, "Sir, we've received a report of unlawful residence." I stared at him. Unlawful? In my house? I showed them everything, deed, bills, ID. They exchanged a look, laughed and said something like, "Sounds like someone's got an overactive HOA." But Brenda wasn't done. Next came the drone. Yep, a drone hovering over my yard, peeking at my windows like I was stockpiling weapons in the shed. So I'd finally had enough. I put up a sign on my property that read, "Private property. Drones will be hosed." It was half joke, half warning. I figured that'd be the end of it. Wrong. 2 days later, I get a letter shoved in my mailbox. No return address, no signature, just an envelope containing a fake HOA welcome packet. We're talking fully photoshopped documents, a forged letter of acceptance, and a bill for $320 in dues. I hadn't signed a single form, hadn't agreed to a thing. That was the last straw. Time to lawyer up. Enter Samantha Luyu. Calm, razor sharp, and absolutely not here for nonsense. I didn't even have to explain much. She took one look at the documents and said, "We're nuking this from orbit." She filed a cease and desist letter so professionally icy it could have frozen Brenda's ambition solid. On top of that, Samantha had me officially recognized by the county as exempt from the HOA. Legally untouchable. But Brenda? She wasn't done. Oh no, she doubled down. She printed out full-color flyers, seriously glossy paper and all, declaring me an illegal occupant, and distributed them around the neighborhood like she was campaigning to be supreme overlord of the block. That was her mistake, so I did what any mildly tech-savvy guy with a story to tell would do. I made a video. Just me, talking through the entire ridiculous saga. Fake documents, drone footage, copies of the flyers. I called it, "When Your HOA Thinks They're Homeland Security." I posted it online before breakfast. By lunch, it had blown up. Viral. The internet loved it. My inbox was flooded. People sent me everything. Gnome figurines, chili recipes, even a crocheted wall hanging that said, "Excessive individuality is not a crime." And just when I thought the weirdness had peaked, plot twist. Brenda slid an envelope under my door. Inside, 5 crisp $100 bills. A handwritten note that read, "Let's settle this amicably." I slid it back under her door with a sticky note that said, "Thanks for lunch. Still not joining your cult." So she tried another move. This time she sent a fake inspector to my house. Claimed I had violations for my paint color and, I kid you not, for being too unique. I recorded the whole encounter. The guy got so flustered mid-confrontation, he ran off and left his clipboard. 2 days later, I find a $750 ticket taped to my front door, issued by something called the Civic Harmony Department. Spoiler alert, completely bogus. I posted that too. The internet devoured it. At that point, there was only one move left. Take her to court. Brenda showed up with a nervous-looking lawyer and a manila folder full of delusions. Meanwhile, my side brought timestamps, surveillance footage, documents, and even a recorded audio clip of Brenda herself saying, "We'll force him out, legally or not." The judge? A no-nonsense woman with courtroom presence that could cut steel. She listened, leaned forward and said, "You harassed this man. For living on land you have no authority over." Gavel drops. HOA found guilty on all counts. Brenda personally fined 120,000 banned from ever holding an HOA role again, ordered to apologize publicly, and complete 200 hours of community service. Oh, and her apology? That went viral too. A full circle moment. Now, life's good. My property is permanently HOA exempt. Every 4th of July, I light up the grill, fly a flag, and set out the crocheted sign as a little reminder. Excessive individuality is not a crime. Every year, I throw a celebration I like to call Independence from the HOA, a big backyard. Bash where we grill burgers, crack open cold beers, and laugh until our sides hurt while I project Brenda's infamous drone footage on a giant outdoor screen like it's some kind of absurd comedy short. Neighbors, friends, even a few folks who followed the saga online drop by to toast freedom from overreach and toast to just minding your own business. There's no HOA agenda, no petty citations, just good food, good people, and a shared appreciation for living on your own terms. And you know, sometimes victory doesn't come from shouting the loudest or being the most aggressive. It comes from quietly standing your ground, embracing your quirks, and refusing to fold under pressure. Sometimes it means being the weird one on the hill who fights back not with anger but with evidence, a camera, and a bit of humor. I didn't go looking for a battle, but when it landed on my doorstep, I didn't shrink either. So what do you think? Was I right to dig in and push back? Or should I have played it safe and joined the herd just to keep the peace? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'll be reading them from my porch, coffee in one hand, drone spray bottle in the other, because this is how it all started. I'm Jack Turner, living in the house my dad built in the 70s. A simple 2-story place perched just outside the sparkling facade of Crestwood Trails, where the lawns are flawless, the smiles are rehearsed, and the HOA has a rule for everything from the color of your shutters to how often your sprinklers run. Only I'm not part of their club. Never signed a thing, never planned to, and apparently that was a very big problem for them.